I'm going to start this video with a huge thank you to everyone who's commented, liked, subscribed, and watched my content over the last few months. And an additional special thanks to my very first patron. You all have helped the channel grow so much faster than I thought it would over this short period of time. This means the world to me, and I'm so happy to be able to share my love of Pokemon with all of you. You're all incredible. And now onto something significantly less nice. Sandshrew. This thing is evil incarnate in Pokemon Yellow. If you've seen any of my previous challenges, you'll know that I hate this little sand-attacking demon. However, while it causes me some serious headaches while going through the playthroughs of Pokemon Yellow, I actually think its design is really cute. In addition, my girlfriend loves Sandshrew in Pokemon Go, so I'm sure making a challenge with it will make her happy. Now that I've met my ego's quota for one girlfriend reference per video, I can move on. In the stats department, Sandshrew has decent attack, good defense, and awful special and speed. In Generation 1, the special stat is used both offensively and defensively, so I won't be able to tank many hits from special attacks during this run. On the moveset side of things, I do get access to Slash early on at level 17. Beyond this, I'm going to have access to Dig and Earthquake, both of which strangely have the same power in this generation. Here are the rules for the challenge. I'll only use Sandshrew in battle. I won't use any items in battle. I won't use glitches with the exception of the badge boost glitch. And finally, Sand Attack is fair game. I've gone up against this thing too many times, and now it's my turn to be the accuracy lowering troll. Serves you right, Game Freak, for putting this awful move in the game. The rival evolves his Eevee based on how the results of the 2 early game fights go. If you defeat him at both the lab and the optional fight, he'll choose Jolteon. If you defeat him at the lab, he chooses Flareon, and if you lose in the lab, he'll choose Vaporeon. Because Vaporeon will be the strongest against Sandshrew, I'm going to need to lose the battle in the lab in order to set that up. As you can see, this isn't the easiest of tasks. It takes many fights before I get the misfortune I need for Eevee to knock Sandshrew out. Because I lost the fight, Sandshrew doesn't level up. That means in Viridian Forest, I'm underleveled. I'm gonna have to take my time here and level up. There's no way that I can beat Brock at my current level. If each scratch deals 1 damage to his Pokemon, he would need to have less than 35 hit points on his entire team for me to be able to reasonably get past him. After around 15 minutes of training, I head over to Brock and I take him on at level 16. Okay everyone, this is my moment. I'm genuinely so excited for this. For once, I get to be the evil villain using Sand Attack. I set it up twice against Geodude and then switch into Scratch. Sand Attack is very overpowered, as everyone should know from my previous challenges, so it makes sense that the developers gave it only 15 PP. Because of that, I need to save a good amount of PP to stall Onix's bides. Geodude goes down, and I've retained a good amount of health for the Onix fight. It comes out, and the strategy here is simple. Attack as much as possible, and switch into Sand Attack whenever Onix uses bide. At a lower level, Onix would be moving before me. It would use bide and I'd use scratch, and then it would deal damage back to me. However, at level 16, I outspeed the Onix, so I can always prevent all of its bide damage. You may wonder, why didn't you just level up to level 17 and get Slash? Honestly, I'm sort of evil and I just wanted to have some fun with Sand Attack strategies. Since I'm gonna learn Slash soon, we should talk about it. In Generation 1, critical hits are calculated with a Pokemon's base speed. The formula is base speed times 100 divided by 512. With Sandshrew's 40 base speed, that gives us a critical hit chance of 7.8%. With Slash, the formula is different. In this case, it's base speed times 100 divided by 64, giving us a critical hit chance of 62.5%. It's not Meowth or Scyther's 100% chance to critical hit, but it's honestly pretty good. So, Sandshrew really does thrive in chaos, the chaos of sand attacks. So there's only one obvious choice for my fossil in Mount Moon. I know a lot of people watch these videos in the background while doing something else, so all of you can head down to the comments and ask me which fossil I ended up picking here. I have a special treat for my rival here on Nugget Bridge. I knocked the Spearow out as fast as possible. and then he sends out Sandshrew, and it's my time to shine. I land a sand attack, and it lands a sand attack. It's my time to have revenge. After 6 sand attacks, I've made my point, and I knock this little creature of chaos out. Good riddance. Rattata is easy to take out. Funny enough, against Eevee, I missed my first attack. I guess his Sandshrew had something to say about my accuracy. Because Sandshrew has very low special and is weak to grass, I'm a bit worried about the lass with the Oddishes at the end of Nugget Bridge. Luckily, I outspeed the first Oddish and knock it out with Slash. This repeats for the second Oddish. I guess I didn't really need to fear this fight after all. Slash is pretty good. Now the lack of special is going to be a serious problem against Misty. However, after you go to Bill's house, the way is cleared to Vermilion. You don't actually need to beat Misty immediately. I defeat the rocket grunt behind the house and grab the TM for Dig. This is a powerful stab move, and in Generation 1 it has 100 power as I mentioned before. This is going to be my go-to move against Misty. Staryu starts the fight by receiving an X defend. I go for Dig and I land it against Staryu, getting a critical hit and knocking it out in 1 turn. So far so good. Starmie lands a water gun. I survive with 14 hit points and go underground for my Dig. From here, I'm going to need a bit of luck. My Dig takes Starmie down to orange health. The next turn, an X defend comes down on Starmie, giving me the 1 turn of luck that I need. That was a lot easier than I expected. On the SSN, I grab Body Slam, Rest, and the rare candy. After that, it's rival time. Of all the rival fights in the game, I find the first, the Silph encounter, and the pre-league fight, as well as the champion fight to be the hardest. I find the fight here on the SSN and the one in Pokemon Tower to always feel very easy. After defeating the rival, it's time for Surge. Now my type advantage here means he'll only be able to damage me with Mega Punch and Mega Kick. Because they're both physical moves and my defense is quite high, I'm not really worried about this fight. Turn 1, Raichu misses its growl. I land my Dig and take it down in a single hit. Finally, a consistent Surge fight. This fight usually relies on so much luck. Before Rock Tunnel, I buy some repels and a couple escape ropes. One of these is to escape and heal up quickly if things get really bad in the cave. The other is for later on. I remember at this point that my last 2 runs with Scyther and Pinsir would have gone a lot better in Rock Tunnel if I had had potions, so I stock up on those as well. In the cave, the hiker fight is fairly easy. Access to Dig as a stab move is really nice. Unfortunately, the Oddish lass puts me to sleep. Okay, Sandshrew is gonna wake up at any moment. Nope, I guess not. Luckily, I saved in front of the hiker. The second fight with the lass goes my way, and I can move on. In Celadon, I grab Rock Slide and some Great Balls, and then I head over and catch a Spearow so that I can use Fly. I fly back to Celadon and deposit my key items that I no longer need. Then I grab the 2 hidden PP ups in the city and grab the rare candy from the Rocket Hideout. Now it's time for Giovanni. He starts with Onix. Dig is super effective against rock Pokemon, and ground doesn't resist ground, so Sandshrew can take Onix out in a single hit. Next is Rhyhorn, and it's the same case here. Persian comes out and lands a bite before Sandshrew digs. When I hit Persian, I knock it out. Sandshrew is honestly pretty strong. I'm surprised how well this little guy is doing. Or maybe I shouldn't be because I hate it so much and it always seems awful when I play against it. I use the second escape rope to leave the hideout. Because grass resists ground attacks and doesn't resist rock attacks, I teach Sandshrew Rock Slide. I think I'm gonna need this move in order to go up against Erika. She starts with Tangela. I use Dig to test its effectiveness out against this monograss Pokemon. I honestly just wanted to see how well my stab move would do before switching into Rock Slide, which isn't stab and is a lower power move. It does very little damage, and then Tangela hits us with a huge Mega Drain. Next turn, I land a Rock Slide, and it also does very little damage. Alright, this is gonna be a really hard fight. However, because I have a type advantage against Koga, I'm gonna make the trip down there first and deal with Erika later. While I complete the Safari Zone, it's story time. A few years ago, my girlfriend and I started playing Pokemon together. For reference, I've always had partners who played Pokemon with me, and they would play for like 3 days and then stop playing and would go and play Animal Crossing nonstop, just like, oh, come on, focus on the game, we've got to beat it together. So I expected the same experience to happen with my current partner, but I lucked out and I got something very different. She wanted to complete the Pokedex in every single game that we played together. So on the virtual console, we're trying to fill the last few spots, and I'm trying to be all knowledgeable and like, hey, you see Chansey, it's really hard to find in the Safari Zone. We're probably going to have to look for this for several days. It's going to be absolutely awful. Even when you throw Pokeballs, they just always miss. 5 seconds later, a Chansey shows up in her game, and she has 1 Safari Ball left. She throws it doesn't miss, and it catches the Chansey. Seriously. Oh my gosh. As a kid, I spent ages trying to find that thing, and she just gets it first try. Whatever. I take on Koga next, and I think you'll agree with me that this just isn't going to work at this level. Honestly, I always take a huge dump on the level curve in Generation 2, but the progress from Erika to Koga in this generation is also pretty bad. I think the developers wanted you to finish off all the Rocket plotline before heading south. But as a kid, I just never did it in that order. I always beat Erika and took the long route down to Fuchsia. In order to train up for Koga, I end up fighting a bunch of trainers, and this training ends up in Silph. The first few Pokemon on the Rivals team are fairly easy. Sandslash doesn't resist my ground moves. Magneton and Ninetales are weak to them. I've always said that I wished the rival in Yellow had Alakazam on his team. But today, I really don't wish that. Kadabra outspeeds Sandshrew and knocks it out. Yikes. I train up a bit more, and I come back to this fight with the rival at level 50. I was hoping that the 2 increases in level would make me outspeed the Kadabra. But nope, Kadabra is really fast and we're really slow. Not Jigglypuff slow, but we're still pretty slow. This time, Psybeam doesn't knock me out, and I'm able to finish the Kadabra off. Vaporeon comes out next. The yellow sprite really makes it look more intimidating rather than cute. My Earthquake takes it into low red health, and he heals it. Because he's used his turn to heal, I knock it out on my next turn, and I can move on. If you're liking the video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. Commenting on the video also really helps my content reach more people, so thanks so much for helping me out. Now let's talk about the proper move usage against Koga, because everyone is going to mention it to me in the comments below if I don't mention it here. Bugs are weak to rock, and they resist ground moves. So even though I get Stab on Earthquake and it has a higher base power, it will end up doing less damage than Rock Slide. I swear my brain is so broken during fights sometimes. I just button mash like I did when I was a kid and choose the Stab move over and over and over again. Actually, keep putting your criticisms of me in the comments. After all, they're good for the YouTube algorithm, even though they're not good for my ego. Eventually, I'm going to get through one of these games, always choosing the right move that does the most damage. When that happens, we'll need to have a serious celebration in the comments. It's time for Sabrina. My low special stat might be an issue here. Abra comes out and misses its flash. I use Earthquake and knock it out. So far so good. Kadabra comes out and it outspeeds me with a Psychic. Sandshrew faints with this critical hit. I know that Sabrina can use X-Defense, Recover, or Kinesis, so I'm going to keep trying to see if Sandshrew can do it relatively consistently at this level. In fight number 4, Abra gets an X-Defend, and Sandshrew's Earthquake still knocks it out. Kadabra comes out and it outspeeds Sandshrew. It goes for Recover, and it fails, allowing Sandshrew to knock it out. Alakazam is last. It sets up a Reflect, improving its defense stat. My Earthquake doesn't knock it out, and now I'm going to need some luck. It goes for Psywave, which is exactly the luck that I need. 4 fights wasn't bad at all. Let's go take care of Blaine. In the gym, I spend some time fighting all the trainers. Sandshrew has a type advantage here, and I want to train up a bit in preparation for the Elite Four. Due to our special stat, I doubt that Sandshrew is going to be able to get through Lorelei at a low level. I expect my fight with Blaine to be pretty easy due to my type advantage. He opens with Ninetales, and it misses its Tail Whip, allowing Sandshrew to land Earthquake, knocking it out. Rapidash is next. It outspeeds Sandshrew and locks me into a Fire Spin. After that, I tank a Stomp well and retaliate with Earthquake, knocking the Rapidash out. the Ace Arcanine comes out and immediately lands a takedown, dealing decent damage. Because it didn't set up Reflect, I land my Earthquake and it faints. That was easy, only one fight required. I head over to take Giovanni out, and then I realize that I still haven't done Erika. Whoops. Time to head back to Celadon. Erika is easy now that I'm massively overleveled. I wish I had thought about this fight earlier. It might have been more interesting if I had been a lower level. Now that I've defeated her though, it's time to head back to Viridian and take Giovanni on. In his gym, I fight all the trainers in order to continue my leveling. I want to be ready for Lorelei. I think I'm going to lose to her a lot during this run. Giovanni opens with Dugtrio. It uses Sand Attack and causing me to miss my Earthquake. Even when I use Sandshrew, I get Sand Attacked. So annoying. Second turn, it lands another Sand Attack, but this time Sandshrew uses Earthquake and knocks it out. The Sand Attack Devil now has terrible accuracy. Great. Persian lands a Slash, and we knock it out with Earthquake. Next are the Niddos. Funny enough, Sandshrew outspeeds Nidoqueen and knocks it out with a super effective Earthquake. I even outspeed Nidoking and knock it out. Rhydon is last, and things get sketchy here. I miss, and Rhydon Horn Drill fails. I miss again, and Giovanni uses a Guard Spec. My third Earthquake misses, and Rhydon lands a Fury attack. This is getting really annoying. My fourth attack finally lands, and Rhydon fails another Horn Drill. With my final PP of Earthquake, I miss again, and Rhydon damages me with Fury attack, taking me down to 43 hit points. Sandshrew goes underground, but fails to land Dig the next turn. It gets hit and taken down to 19 hit points. Please let me land my next Dig. We both miss on the next turn, and the fight continues. Finally, Sandshrew lands a Dig, and I've defeated Giovanni in my first fight. In preparation for the league, I use 2 PP ups on Earthquake. The rival is next. Sandslash is first, and I can knock it out with 2 uses of Earthquake. Slash takes Execute down to just over half health, and then it sets up Leech Seed. I take it down to a sliver of health, but it sets up Solar Beam, securing my victory. Magneton for once feels like a breeze. I played this game too many times with the flying and water Pokemon. I've started to hate this thing. Ninetales outspeeds using Roar and then gets knocked out by Earthquake. Kadabra lands a Psybeam, taking Sandshrew down to 36 health before it goes down to an Earthquake. Earthquake really feels like the most powerful offensive move. It's good against almost everything. Vaporeon is next. I land a Slash and it misses Hydro Pump. Then I hit another Slash and it uses Haze. I can't believe I got through that. I really thought that I was screwed when Vaporeon came out. The champion fight is going to be really hard. My low special stat, in combination with my typing, is going to make Lorelei very hard. At my current level, I doubt that I can even take this win with incredible luck. I want to have a fairly consistent strategy for the league, so I'm going to spend some time leveling up. When I level up, I usually just put on a podcast and run around Kanto defeating all the trainers that I've missed to this point. I'm not sure if this is the most efficient way to do it in terms of time. Probably not. I think I could probably do it faster by just grinding in Victory Road, but it's a tiny bit more fun and engaging. Now I've removed the timer to give a bit of suspense during the league so you're not sure how long it took me or how many attempts it took me. Lorelei starts with Dugong, and I hit it with a Rock Slide, knocking it out in a single hit. Cloyster comes out and Rock Slide takes it into low red health, triggering a potion from Lorelei. This gives me an extra turn, however my Rock Slide misses. I tank an Ice Beam and knock it out the next turn. Against Slowbro, Earthquake will be a 2-hit. I want to take it down as fast as possible so that it doesn't get a Surf off. Jinx is very frail, and a single Earthquake makes quick work of it. Finally, Lapras comes out, and it requires one of 3 lucky scenarios. 1. Lapras misses Blizzard, allowing me to attack twice. 2. I get a critical hit and I knock it out in a single hit. Or 3. I take it into low enough health to trigger a Super Potion and get a second hit off without her attacking. In this case, I trigger the potion and I take the victory. Against Bruno, I use Dig. It has the same power as Earthquake, but it does take 2 turns. I honestly just want to conserve PP during this fight. His entire team is just a series of one-hits. Agatha is next. Because I have Earthquake and Rock Slide, this fight is an absolute breeze. I power through the ghost Pokemon with super effective Earthquakes. I use Rock Slide against Golbat, and I use Earthquake for Arbok. I always get an excited and satisfied feeling when this fight is smooth. It's been absolutely brutal in the past, and those experiences are burnt into my memory. It's nice to just run circles around her for once. Lance sends out Gyarados first. Rock Slide hits it for neutral damage, but it does enough to knock it out. This is actually a range, and sometimes it survives with low red health. The Dragonairs are both one-hits with Dig. Again, I'm using it here just to save PP. So I actually looked at a type chart for once, and Rock doesn't resist Rock. So Rock Slide does super effective damage to Aerodactyl and knocks it out in a single turn. His Ace Dragonite is where serious issues can arise. I'm waiting for two scenarios. One, it misses Blizzard, or I get a critical hit. Funny enough, I got frozen several times before I played this fight, and in this case, I get the crit off and knock it out in a single turn. Well done, Sandshrew. You've bested the pseudo-legendary dragon. The champion opens with Sandslash. It can't deal much damage to us. It takes 2 turns to knock it out. Up next is Alakazam, and it lands a Psychic, dealing massive damage to us before going down to an Earthquake. Executor doesn't go down in a single hit, so it always gets a chance to set up Leech Life. This would be annoying, but the Pokemon that follow are easy for Sandshrew to one-hit. Ninetales sometimes gets a quick attack off and deals a small amount of damage before going down. Finally, Magneton is no threat due to my type. Here is where things get really nasty. Vaporeon is last. I use Earthquake and take it down into red health. Luckily for me, it uses Mist, and I get a second chance to land a second hit and knock it out. So I did it. What time did I end the league with? 3 hours and 12 minutes. However, I need to confess, the real reason I took the timer away was because I messed my footage up. My original footage of my first run through the Elite Four played back at around 2 frames per second, and it honestly wasn't possible to make a good looking video with that footage. Because the game automatically saves when you beat the champion, this time I had less elixirs and I was at a higher level. That means that Sandshrew originally beat the game at only level 75. I'm gonna let the original footage play now through the outro so that you can see what the original run looked like. Also, if you were complaining in the comments about me taking the timer away and about the fact that I was using Dig to save PP when you're like, you can just use elixirs, this is why I couldn't do that. So now you know. And if anyone put that in the comments, we caught you. You probably didn't watch to this point of the video. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to like and comment these videos. It's been helping my channel grow, and I can't say how appreciative I am of your support. If you're looking for another way to support the channel, you can click on the Amazon links in the description and check out the products that I use to record these videos. If you buy anything off Amazon after clicking those links, I'll get a small commission. But the best way to support this channel is just by being here and watching. Thank you so much. If you're still watching, you're incredible, and I'll see you in my next challenge.